And we are live. Welcome to the Ryan Arbeit History Podcast. During this podcast, if there are any questions about the Treaty of Versailles or what we're going to get into about World War II, please call. The number is 555-355-1768. Again, 555-355-1768 for the Ryan Arbeit Podcast.
I have a mansion, forget the price. Ain't never been there, they tell me it's nice.
For all my new listeners, we spoke about World War I and the trench warfare last week. We left it off at the Treaty of Versailles, and leaving the war off there left a few countries not as happy as others. The main goal of the Treaty of Versailles was to develop a treaty that would punish Germany and meet the goals of the various Allied powers. Now we can understand Germany's motive to start another world war. Germany wanted revenge and they wanted control. Germany took over most of Europe except for England and neutral countries and some of North Africa. World War II started on September 1st, 1939. The war started with Germany invading their neighboring country to the east, Poland. When the war started, many countries were actually in depressions. Hitler rose to power because people were desperate, and he was saying all the right things and had the right answers at the right time for the German people who were economically depressed. When Hitler invaded Poland, it showed Germany's war tactic, the Blitzkrieg. Blitzkrieg means lightning war or very fast attacks. The invasion of Poland was the start of the Second World War. The Blitzkrieg was an attack like the world has never seen before. All of World War I was fought in trench warfare. Most of the trenches had a no man's land ranging from 250 yards to 300 yards average in between. The Soviets invaded Poland as well on September 17, 1939, almost 3 weeks after the first German invasion, and almost 4 weeks after the signing of the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact between Germany and the Soviet Union. We will be taking a quick ad break for the sponsor of our podcast today, Cracker Jacks. Cracker Jacks have been a household name and favorite since '96, and that's 1896 I'm talking about.
Lip smacking, whip smacking, patty whacking, ink and knacking, silver racking, shallow whacking, cracker jacking, cracker jack.
Thank you, Cracker Jacks, for sponsoring today's podcast. From May 26 to June 4th, 1940, some 300,000 British soldiers and other Allied troops were evacuated from Dunkirk to England as German forces closed in on them. The battle in Dunkirk showed the fast blitzkrieg of Germany could be beat, and now the Allies had an idea of how to defend the blitzkrieg as well. After the battle in Dunkirk and the fall of France, the Battle of Britain had started. The German Luftwaffe and British Royal Air Force fought the first military campaign fought entirely by air forces. More than 1,700 Luftwaffe planes were destroyed. The 2,662 German casualties included many experienced aircrew. The Luftwaffe never fully recovered. Over a year later, after the Battle of Britain, there was an attack at Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. Pearl Harbor was an attack of the Japanese on the U.S. Pacific Fleet. On December 7, 1941, the United States finally declared war and entered the war against the Japanese Empire. 4 days after the United States declared war on the Japanese Empire, Nazi Germany declared war against the United States. Only 6 months after Japan's attack on Pearl Harbor came the turning point of the war in the Pacific. The Battle of Midway was a decisive naval battle that took place between June 4th and June 7th, 1942. The turning point in Europe was the Battle of Stalingrad. Stalingrad was the largest confrontation of World War II. Germany fought the Soviet Union for control over the city of Stalingrad. The battle is infamous as one of the largest, longest, and bloodiest battles ever fought. The battle ultimately turned the tables of World War II in favor of the Allied forces. Thank you for tuning in to Ryan Arbeit's History Podcast. We will pick up again next week with what happens after the battle at Stalingrad. Big thank you to Cracker Jacks for sponsoring today's podcast.